Hey YouTube fam, this is Professor Green coming with another segment of Color Truth where we reveal the real color of all truth. I want to entitle this segment of Color Truth, Piss Down My Back and Tell Me It's Raining. And it's in relation to the January 6th domestic terrorism attack. They like to call it an insurrection. I say, not only was it an insurrection, it was a domestic terrorism attack. I'm appalled by them classifying this attack as a protest. Now, the reason that why I came back to do this video is because of the August 28th March on Washington, where there was over 20,000 people there. But it has little coverage. But not only that, this January 6th domestic terrorism attack consistently gets coverage. And not only that, a lot of the individuals that are involved work with some of the people who may be watching this video. There's somebody's supervisor. There's somebody's colleagues. I mean, could you imagine, not only were the steps of the Capitol around the corner, but these people scaled the wall. And some theorized that it was planned because there was little to none law enforcement or Capitol Police present. These people scaled, so they came prepared. And you would hear commentators, news commentators say, well, and people who get on some of the news channels say, well, you know, they got this call from Trump. But these people, not only did they scale the wall when they could have went right around the corner on the steps, you know, people lost their lives. People lost their lives. And the psychoticism behind it, the busting out the windows. And most of them had their picture in plain sight. Why are all of these people arrested? Why are all these people facing federal crimes? Why aren't they in prison right now? At one point, they put their feet on some of the congressmen's desk. And then at one point, I also heard that somebody urinated and wiped feces on the walls. Now, I don't even have to go into if this was people of color or black people who did something like this and the massacre that probably would have occurred. I don't even have to go into that. The whole globe saw this, unless they're in a remote part of the world, so where there's no television, and maybe they even heard about it. But this is egregious, draconian, and just, I don't even know a word that can describe how people can come in and do this, and then there's no real repercussions behind it. I come from a community that if me and somebody of my peer are together and a crime is committed, especially when a life is lost, both of us get in charge for that. And people's lives were lost. Then you had Officer Dunn, who was repeatedly called the N-word. And then in his hearing, when he was talking about the trauma that he incurred, one of the commentators said, well, we have no evidence or no sound. We have no sound and we have no evidence that you were repeatedly called. They did everything else. I don't even see why that wouldn't occur. Everything else that they wanted to do at that Capitol, they did, besides take his life. The N-word is minimal. And I don't know why, you know, you talk to people and we have these discussions, and this is the nature of the group of people who did this. Black people are often classified as savage, as thugs, as criminals. But you got to see firsthand the true nature of those who are savage. You got to see in that January 6th Domestic Terrorism Act. I work as a clinical social worker, and I have to advocate for people who have mental illness, who may call the police and threaten to do this or do that, and they wind up in prison. I have to advocate to get them put in a mental institution to keep from going to prison, because they can go to prison for up to 10 years for a terroristic threat. But you got these people went in this Capitol, destroyed it, and lives were lost. And they don't get no jail or prison time or repercussion. I think a couple of people got, I've heard numbers of 8 months, but you don't see anything about people being prosecuted. These people still got their jobs, still got their careers, went back to work, and oh my God, the one with the Viking suit on. I mean, he went straight medieval. He went straight to antiquity with his. He put on the had the spear and everything. He should be the first one in prison. And so you just got to see who are the real thugs. Because thug stands for the hate you give. And they gave a lot of hate that day, January 6th. Drop a comment. Tell me what you think. Color of Truth.